execute. Okay. Now, before we start, I would like to know a little bit about all of you, and I will frame the explanations and examples based on that. So, in your introduction, please tell me in which field you are working, how many years of experience you have, what is your educational background, and whether you have, let's say, any prior programming knowledge or not related to any field. It doesn't necessarily mean Python by programming experience. I mean, it can be related to any field. So I think all of you can start one by one, and then you can take a minute or two to introduce yourself. Please go ahead. Let me start alphabetically. So, can we start with you, Anjali?
Hi, this is Anjali. I have 23 years experience overall. I have done my MP in hospital management. Currently, I am working with renewable energy. I am basically into operations and the business development. And I have completed my PMP. I don't have any experience about programming.
Okay, thanks, Anjali. Arshad?
Hello, Utkarsh. Yeah, so I'm Ashrit. I have about 15 years of experience, but when it comes to programming, it's completely zero. I am into unified communications and voice over IP technologies.
Great. Aurobindo?
Hi everyone. My name is Aravinda and I'm working in a telecom company more than 15 years. And yes, I don't have any experience in this field. So I want to learn it and I want to apply it in my day-to-day activity. Thank you.
Okay. Next, I guess we have Keshav.
Uh, I'm working for mechanical engineering actually. Total 17 years of experience. I belongs to supplier product quality actually. I completed my BA.
Okay, great.
I don't have any knowledge in programming actually. Yeah.
Noted. Priyanka?
Uh, Hi, good evening. This is Priyanka. So I have total 18 plus years of experience working into the IT. So I have a coding background. So I started my career as a .NET developer. So right now I'm working as a senior project manager in for one of the leading US healthcare customers. So I did my few fundamental certifications into the AI, the fundamental, then the business leader and the transformation leader. But I'm really looking forward to have some hands-on experience and looking forward to have, complete my AI 103 so that I can get that confidence of creating agents, the bots, and I can utilize that knowledge in my organization. That's all.
Great. Okay. Next, Sushma. Can you hear me, Sushma? Okay. Sharik?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Sharik, we can hear you.
Hello, sir. Just one second. Hello, I'm Sharik Ansar. I have completed actually BTech in electrical engineering and currently work as a graduate engineering training. And I don't have any knowledge about just fundamentals.
Okay, great. Neha? Shantanu?
Hi, Utkarsh. I'm having 15 years of experience. So mostly into banking analytics. I use SAS as a part of my coding part. So that's one thing. Secondly, means looking everything currently over that AI thing everywhere. So I just want to explore this area as well. I haven't completed PMP, but I'm currently a project manager within EXL.
Okay. Shraddha.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Shraddha Sondur, and I have total of 12 years of experience in manufacturing. I have completed my bachelor's of engineering in medical electronics, and I have been serving. I have been working with Applied Materials, a semiconductor company, for almost 5 years now. And I have a very basic knowledge on coding language like VBA and C++. Very basic.
Noted. Okay. Shraddha, we have Srinath.
I'm Srinath. I have 13 years of experience. Currently, I'm working as a senior project manager for SAP domain. And I started my career as an SAP programmer. Uh, so I just looking forward to this class about the and bots.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fine. Apologies if I missed someone. So, great batch of participants from different domains, and we will try to discuss examples in that manner as well. Given most of us are from non-tech background, so we will cover that technical project that I was talking about. Uh, if only if we have time remaining, or I will at least show you how it is working, explain how it is working, rather than writing the code in front of you. Let us start. And at any stage, if you have any doubts, please feel free to ask. Let's make this as much interactive as possible. So, first, we are going to discuss what is data analytics. After that, we are going to discuss what is machine learning, then deep learning, then Gen AI, and after that, agentic AI. So, after this webinar, you will have a complete idea about what all of these things mean, and probably also where they can help you. Okay. So let us start. And whenever we discuss something, first I would like all of you to share views about anything. Let's say, what do you think about data analytics? What do you understand by ML? And then based on that, I will build up and explain further what exactly it actually is. Okay. Let's start from data analytics. So can anyone share their views? What do you understand by data analytics? Anyone? Data analytics or data analysis? None? Fine. Before
Uh,
explaining what exactly is, yes, Srinath, go ahead.
so basically, analytics is used to show a meaningful picture from a raw data. From raw data, we should get a meaningful picture of what the whole data is about.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
Analyzing the big data to get the report format or any format for reporting or any other uses.
Correct. So by reports and everything, you mean insights, right?
Yeah, insights. Yes.
Perfect. Great. Solid understanding. Now let's discuss. So what is data analytics? Data analytics, you can look at it in three steps. First, you have your data, your raw data. Second, generating insights from that data, and then using those insights influencing business decisions. So data analytics or data analysis is basically a field where you generate insights from raw data, and then using those insights, you can take decisions or influence business decisions. And I always like to say that everybody is a data analyst. I cannot say everybody is a machine learning engineer or an AI engineer, but everybody is a data analyst. irrespective of the field you are in, irrespective of your educational background, everybody is a data analyst, because for making every decision you do a lot of data analysis. For example, just to prove this point, some examples. Let's say you want to purchase a new car. So obviously you will not just ask one of your friends and then go and buy whichever car he or she suggests. You will rather ask multiple people, you will go through a lot of articles, you will do your own research, you will go through a lot of reviews, you will maybe look for videos by a lot of YouTubers. Okay, all of these different things. You will decide a budget, you will create a list of features that you want, features that you don't want, and then based on all of that research you will finally make a decision that okay, this is the car that best suits my requirements. Just one of the examples. Another example, let's say you want to buy some health insurance policy. So obviously, again, it's not the case that you will just buy the next one you see, but rather you will compare the premiums or other features of a lot of policies, and then based on that, you will make a final decision. So that is what data analysis actually is, just on a bigger scale. These decisions that we're making, they only influence you as an individual, but the scale increases when you're doing it for an organization. You will have a lot of data, and then you need to generate insights from data. You need to communicate your results clearly, and then based on that, you can make decisions, or stakeholders can make decisions. So these are the 4 steps data analytics involves. First step is data collection. So you collect your data from different sources, because without data you can't do anything. The next step, data preparation. Now, this is a kind of the technical step where data analysts come into picture. In this phase, the data that you have collected, it may not be suitable for application of, let's say, a lot of statistical or machine learning techniques. So you clean and transform that data, you bring it into a similar format so that you can actually apply some things there. That is your data preparation. In simple words, you prepare your data for analysis and modeling. Next step, that is where you apply techniques that will help you gain insights from your data. And the final steps, you visualize. Visualization is the best way of communication. All of you may have heard the phrase that, okay, an image is worth 1,000 words. So the same thing applies here as well. Now you visualize your insights, which will influence the decisions. Now let's take a look how this will look like in case of a practical situation. So suppose you want to build a solution related to detecting fraudulent transactions in banking. So how data analytics pipeline will look like for this? First, you will obviously collect data available in the past, transaction logs, user profiles, device data, everything related to transactions basically. Then you will prepare that data so that you can apply some techniques, handling missing values, creating labels, fraudulent and non-fraudulent, okay, taking care of data types, a lot of different things. And then you will, so this kind of problem, detecting fraudulent transactions, it will require you to use some kind of modeling technique, which can learn from already existing data and then detect future transactions, future fraudulent transactions. So you will train such a model, and then finally you will create dashboards that okay, out of next million transactions, these many might be fraudulent, and a lot of different scenarios can be there once you have created this solution. So this is what it looks like, and that's what data analytics is. Now, this is basic. Let us move on to the topic on which everything is based on, machine learning. Everything that comes after this, let's say deep learning or generative AI, agentic AI, everything starts here. The principle is same, and that principle is you learn from already existing data, and then you can use that pattern for new cases. So this is something very interesting, and I would like all of you to pay attention. Let's talk about it. Okay, before I start explaining what machine learning is, I would like to know from all of you. Can anyone share what do you understand by machine learning? It can be anything. What do you think about it? What's your view? anything you have read. I'm not really asking for like a technical definition and explanation.
It is basically like using the algorithms uh, that can be used uh, uh, to learn the patterns and then understand like how that data can be processed based on that algorithm or pattern, that we can say that is what the machine learning is.
Perfect. Very close.
I think it's teaching a tool how to behave in a particular scenario. Like if we have a data, when to process what data in which way and give what results. So something like that.
Partially true. Anyone else? Okay. See, there are many ways to define machine learning, and there are some ways that actually make sense, and there are some ways that are just part of the hype. So let me share some of them with you, and then all of you, I would like everyone to participate. All of you share with me whether you feel this is true or not. So, machine learning gives machines ability to take their own decisions. How many of you believe that is the case? You can just reply with a yes or no. Maybe in the chat or via audio, anything is fine. That is not correct. Right? Machines can never take their own decisions. It is always something that you have implemented. They can uh, produce results in a way that you have defined, but saying they can take their own decisions, no, not possible. Maybe agentic AI, you can relate with that better, but here I'm separating machine learning from AI. Okay, next. Machine learning gives machines ability to think on their own. How many of you believe that is true? Machine learning gives machines ability to think on their own.
No.
No.
Correct. Absolutely not at all. Then what is machine learning? What is the best way to define machine learning? So there's a very technical definition which says that okay, a machine is said to learn from experience E if its performance measure P on some data E uh, increases with experience E. But let's not go there. The best way to define machine learning is extracting patterns from data. That is it. Machine learning is about extracting patterns from data, nothing else. Giving machines ability to take their own decisions, making machines think. Okay, let's say if you are in some uh, a family function, and if you are explaining it to a non-tech relative, then these definitions make sense, but actually none of them are true. So the best way is machine learning is about extracting patterns from data. And now let me explain machine learning in just two flowcharts. So in order to extract patterns from data, first you need to have both inputs and outputs. Let's say we are talking about a loan default situation where you have inputs which can be your financial details, your income, spend, already existing EMIs, right? All of those things. And then output will be whether this was defaulted or not. So already existing data. Or a more simple example, let's just say based on years of experience, you want to predict someone's salary. So in order to create such a solution, first you need to have a lot of data related to that. Already existing data from history. Then only any machine learning solution is possible. So first requirement is data, both input and output. In this case, input is years of experience, output is salary. Then you use a suitable algorithm depending upon your data, which will be able to extract the pattern from data. That is the first step. This is the training step. So this gives you the pattern, or we often call it a model as well, like a machine learning model. This is the training step. You train this algorithm on already existing data, and this figures out the pattern between your input and output. Basically, what matches your input with your output, or how exactly, in our case, how is the salary dependent on years of experience. Now that we have learned that pattern from already existing data, pattern or the model, we are ready to make predictions for new cases. So we just take the input of a new candidate, and now we can output the salary. This is how machine learning works. Learn from already existing data, and once you have done that, use that pattern to make predictions for new cases. Let me show you a very simple example how that pattern may look like. Let me write some data here. So let's say for someone having 2 years of experience, the salary is, let's suppose, 50,000. 3 years of experience, 60,000. 4 years of experience, 70,000. 5 years of experience, 80,000. So can anyone tell me what can be the pattern that matches your salary with years of experience? Just try to guess, maybe. Can you think of a way that you can represent the pattern between these two?
With each year, there is an increment of 10K.
Perfect. Absolutely
Experience
correct
versus salary.
observation.
Experience versus salary.
Experience
Versus salary.
versus salary.
Based on
Yes,
experience. Yeah.
that is what I'm asking. That is correct. We are trying to understand relationship between experience and salary, or experience versus salary. But what we're interested in, the perfect pattern that matches the two. And what do I mean by that? Let me clarify. Like, give me a pattern where I input the years of experience and I can get the correct salary. That's what I mean by the pattern.
So, with the increase of year of experience, there will be 10% increase.
10,000.
Yeah, 10,000.
Correct. And is there one more component?
And
First part is correct. Most of you have guessed it. Second part, what will be the salary for someone new having 0 years of experience as per this trend? Can I say
minimum
30,000?
30, yeah, 30,000.
30,000. Absolutely correct. So for this very simple example, this is what a pattern will look like. So your salary is equals to, and that is what your model will be. Salary is equals to years of experience multiplied by 10,000 plus 30,000. That's it. All of you can check, it matches all the cases. So this is an example of a very simple pattern which exists in the form of a mathematical function or equation. And then as you study more about machine learning and deep learning, there are many ways patterns can be represented. They can be represented in terms of decision trees. They can be represented in terms of, let's say, how similar they are in multidimensional space, right? K nearest neighbors, they can be represented in terms of neural networks. Sorry. So there are many ways to represent this pattern, but let's not go there. What exactly a pattern is. Here we just want to understand what machine learning is. So let me summarize 2 steps. First step, learn the pattern from already existing data, and then you can make predictions for new cases. You can do this for a lot of cases. For example, credit card fraud transaction detection. You can train a machine learning model which takes the details and can say whether a transaction is fraudulent or not. Let's say image classification. You want a model which can classify between images of different objects. So first you need a lot of images of different objects and then their corresponding labels. Based on that, your algorithm will figure out the patterns, and then it can tell you what new images are. A lot of applications are there, endless applications. It will not do any justice to just talk about a few. That is what the basic pattern is. Any doubts about this? Has your familiarity with machine learning improved after this example? What it actually is? No?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Utkarsh. You can
No,
proceed.
no, no.
Let's proceed. Now let's talk about how all of this actually happens. What happens when you try to solve a problem using machine learning? So first few steps will look very similar to data analytics. The first step is data collection. Data is the most important part here. And most often participants ask that what is data science? So as you see, data is important for everything. It is a first requirement. And if data is important, then you need to store and maintain data. You need tools and techniques to manipulate data. You need tools and techniques to, let's say, transform data, tools and techniques to model data, visualize data. So all of that is known as data science. The first step, data collection. Let's say you want to solve a problem that we said. You want to make a machine learning solution which can make predictions about salary using years of experience. So first you will need to collect data, past data related to the same issue. You will need a lot of data related to salary and years of experience. Next, data preparation. You will transform that data so you can actually provide that to a machine learning model. Next step, you will select a suitable algorithm based on that particular data and the requirement. After that, you will actually train a model on that data. This step is where you extract the pattern. So model training, and then you will evaluate how well it is doing. Final step, deployment and monitoring. That is what a machine learning cycle looks like. Now, if you want to solve an actual problem, let's say forecasting product demand in retail, how will you use machine learning? Again, let's relate all of this to the pipeline that we have seen. First step, data collection. You will collect data related to sales history, trends in the past, promotions, seasonality, a lot of things. Then you will clean all of that data because obviously this will be from different sources. So you need to bring that all of that to the same page. You will do that. Next, algorithm selection. The most suitable algorithm for this will be like a time series model. Then you will train your model, evaluate it, and finally deploy. Now,
So,
instead of,
sorry,
yes,
just to
go
cut you
ahead.
off.
Go ahead.
So
Go
for
ahead.
all of these, do we need to have a statistics background?
I wouldn't say you need to have a statistics background. You need to have the knowledge of statistics. Like it's not the case that you need to have a, let's say, bachelor or a master's in statistics. No, there are some requirements that you need to go through, and it hardly will take you
Okay.
3 to 4 weeks
Okay.
to cover all of those requirements.
Okay. So like someone like me who does not have any knowledge about regression or anything related to stats, means I'm talking about. So will all this will be covered within this?
Yes,
Okay.
all this will be covered. So this program has been specifically designed for mixed batches, and all our previous batches have been like this. We
Mm-hmm.
start from scratch: Python, probability, statistics, machine learning, deep learning,
Correct.
all of these things, right? So
Okay.
what I meant was, when I talk about probability and statistics module, obviously we will not cover the complete probability or statistics module. Okay, that can be like a course for, that can be a course for 2 years, a master's or something. We
Mm-hmm.
will discuss statistics as a prerequisite for machine learning, meaning the fundamental topics that will help you or that you need to understand machine learning. And that is what the role demands.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Okay. Now let's talk about deep learning. So let's not go into the technical details of neural networks. Let me just give you an idea. How exactly is deep learning different from machine learning? And then we will move on to our main topics, generative AI and agentic AI. Okay. So when we talk about machine learning, it uses classical ML algorithms. And when we talk about deep learning, this is also a subset of machine learning. Deep learning is also about extracting patterns from data. It's just that what you use to extract that data, instead of belonging to classical ML algorithms, we use neural networks. Now, what are neural networks? They are far more flexible and powerful sorry, they are far more flexible and powerful than your simple classical machine learning algorithms. Now, when I say they are far more flexible and powerful, then why do we even learn machine learning? Why can't we use a neural network to solve all our problems? And then this distinction will be there in neural networks versus large language models as well. So you need, in order to understand this, and it's very important, you need to look at machine learning models as a knife, and then you need to look at deep learning or neural networks as a chainsaw. So if your task is to cut trees or large wooden logs, then which will be the best tool, the tool suited for the job? Let's say first task, cutting trees or logs. Obviously, you will use a chainsaw. Nobody is stopping you from using a knife. You can use these models for all problems. You can use these as well. But it will take you a lot of time. It is not the best tool. But if my task is to just cut fruits, then a knife is going to be the best choice. Obviously, you can use a chainsaw, but then again, you will be wasting resources in terms of electricity, the cost of the machine itself, maintenance, all of these things. So everything exists because there is a specific model for every use case. Just because neural networks are more powerful doesn't mean that we should use them everywhere. They require a lot of resources, not only to train them, but also a lot of resources to deploy and maintain. And with that, a lot of cost is there. So that is why neural networks exist, but we still have our machine learning models. And what exactly we use, it just depends on problems. A simple rule of thumb is if you have any problem related to structured data, when we say structured data, we are talking about, let's say, data which is in rows and columns format like Excel, CSV files, a lot of different things. Okay, similar data, SQL, tables, and all, any tabular data that you can think of. When we talk about unstructured data, we mean images, audio, video, text, obviously. So anything that is not in a structured format is your unstructured data, and this is what it mainly comprises. So any task related to this, here patterns are tricky. Use deep learning or neural networks. Any task related to this, use a machine learning model. That is the rule of thumb. Now, let us move on to generative AI, which is what all of us are here for. So again, I will not go into the technical details, but let's just understand what generative AI is. So whatever we have been talking about till now, data analysis, machine learning, deep learning, they are all about making predictions and helping you with your decisions. You provide some data, they learn the pattern, and then they make you predictions. Tasks like regression, classification, clustering. Okay, like you need to predict salary, or let's say you need to predict someone will default on the loan or not, detecting fraudulent transactions, and tasks similar to that, much more. But when we talk about generative AI, we are talking about generating new content. It can be text, it can be image, it can be video, it can be audio. Anything is possible nowadays. So that is what generative AI is. When I only say AI, we are talking about machine learning, deep learning, and tasks related like regression, classification, clustering, all of these things. But when we talk about generative AI, we specifically mean that we are talking about generating something. Now, here also you are using neural networks of different class, generative adversarial networks, variational autoencoders, diffusion models. But nowadays, everything is about large language models. So let's talk about them for a little bit. Are all of you aware what a large language model is? And let's increase the participation from this, because here we are talking about generative AI and agentic AI. which I suppose all of you might be interested in. The more you interact, the more you discuss, the more you will gain from this webinar. So let me know what you understand by large language models, or have you even heard about this term or not? Anyone?
So I think Gemini or Llama, all these are LLMs, which are these are the models which have already been trained on certain data sets.
Correct.
Yeah, I agree with him too. It's like ChatGPT, Gemini, and many other LLMs.
Absolutely correct. Chat GPT is not an LLM, right? And this is a very common confusion. So let's focus here. This was anyways going to be my next point.
Means
So
Gemma, Llama, all these are the LLMs, right?
yes, Gamma, Llama, you have Claude series, Opus, all of those are models.
Hmm.
Claude is actually the product. I mean, the Opus series, Haiku, Sonnet, Kimi, all of
Correct.
these are LLMs.
Hmm.
DeepSeek, a lot of them are there. So let's talk about it. Okay, most of you may not have heard about LLMs, but I hope you definitely know these. Chat GPT, almost everyone uses nowadays, or Claude, Gemini. There are others as well, but I think these are the three prominent ones. One is from OpenAI, one is from Anthropic, and one is from Google. There's Grok, there is Meta, but let's just talk about these three. So these are products. They are not LLMs. These are products. And they are powered by LLMs. So what exactly is an LLM? What exactly is a large language model? So we are now talking about the pinnacle of models that we currently have. Nowadays, research is going forward towards creating world models which are even more powerful. But right now, the most powerful thing we have are LLMs. So what are LLMs? So you use the chat GPT as a product, and then you are able to ask it a lot of questions. It can generate images for you, it can generate text for you, it can do a lot of tasks for you, and many different things. So powering all of that is an LLM, large language model, which is also a kind of neural network, and that has been trained on a lot of data. And when I say a lot of data, it actually means all the data that exists on the internet. That is why they are able to do a lot of things. The principle is same here. What we understood in machine learning, the principle is same. Earlier they were only text based. Nowadays, text, image, audio, video, everything is there. So you have an LLM, and then you train it on a lot of text, a lot of image, a lot of audio. It learns the patterns in that data to the extent that now it is able to generate new data for you. And then let's say the LLM was trained on everything till July 2025. Even if you ask something related to something, an incident or something, a news related to after that, now you give it ability to access internet and tools. So that is also accounted for, because some of you may have a confusion that okay, you are saying it is trained on all of data, but still it has to access internet to access some information. No. So let's say if a model was released in July 2025, so it will have all the knowledge till that. For anything after that, it will need to access internet. So that is how it is. It is trained on a lot of data, and now it is capable of generating content for you. So chat gpt is an application. Chat gpt is mainly powered by models from OpenAI. So if you use this application, you may have heard about things like GPT 5.5, GPT, let's just say GPT 5 or 4.5, all of that, right? So what are these? These are your LLMs. If you use Claude, you may see Opus 4.8. You may see Fable, which is currently regarded as the best LLM that exists, Fable 5, or you may see Sonnet. So, what are all these? These are LLMs. Gemini, they have their own series. So, these are what LLMs are. And what exactly makes them so useful and different from your simple deep learning or machine learning models? There you are required to do a lot of training and fine tuning, a lot of expertise was required. Now, this point is very, very, very important. There, let's say if you want to solve a problem using deep learning or machine learning, you need to have a lot of expertise. You need to train the model, clean the data, you need to do a lot of different things. And then you are capable of deploying something actually useful. A lot of expertise is required. But the LLMs are useful out of the box. You don't need to train them for a lot for most of the tasks, for 90% of the tasks. You don't need to tune them for most of the tasks. You can just use them as it is. Just specify your input format, just specify what type of output you're looking for, and then they can be used for a lot of tasks, whether it be related to sales, marketing, anything you can think about, making predictions, sentiment analysis, generating summaries, translation. All the tasks can be completed out of the box. And that is why it is important for everyone. All of you are from non-tech background. So I think a question was asked. I'm not able to recall who asked that, but it was a fair question. Everyone wonders that, okay, to create applications using these LLMs or to create applications related to Gen AI, related to the tasks that we do day to day in our jobs, whether you are in healthcare, in manufacturing, mechanical engineering, law, anywhere. Do you need a lot of expertise? The answer is no. You have a lot of frameworks. You have no code frameworks as well, where you can drag and drop things, and then you can create your own workflows. That is what makes LLMs, generative AI, so important, because now that barrier is gone. You don't need to train a model, create the architecture, clean your data, and take all those steps. No, these are useful out of the box, and the possibilities are endless. And even if you want to create a very simple application, you need not require to write any code yourself for that. You just need to understand how things are done. The code can even be generated by these models. I personally am involved in a lot of projects, a lot of industry projects. If I talk about last year, like before March, April, I used to write 100% of code myself. And here I'm talking about code related to large industry scale applications, multiple uh, developers in a team, those kind of applications, right? Currently, 100% of code is written by AI. I just evaluate it, I just test it. I may need to reiterate, make a lot of changes. Those changes are also made by AI. So that is the situation. For a lot of simple tasks, simple workflows that may help you in your day to day lives, you don't even need that kind of expertise. So that is where everything becomes so useful. So I hope all of you have a good idea about the difference between these products. So these are products and these are LLMs. LLMs are also kind of neural networks, but on a different scale. Using LLMs, you can create a lot of applications, workflows that can help you. Now, generative AI is not just important for people who want to transition to this field. Let's say you want to become a Gen AI engineer or AI engineer. No, now it is important. It is like a basic requirement for almost everyone because of the ease of access. Okay, so here we talked about generative AI. Now, let's discuss a little bit about agentic AI. I hope generative AI is clear. It's about generating new content, and then you can do a lot of tasks with this. Now, what is agentic AI? Very simple. LLMs, an LLM plus You give your LLM access to tools that are capable of performing different tasks. So that is what you mean by agentic AI. So an AI agent is basically an LLM and then a lot of tools that can perform a lot of different tasks to automate everything. That is where industry is moving towards. And that also is very easy. If I talk about creating AI agents, how it was 2 years ago, okay, a little bit tricky. A lot of frameworks were evolving, a lot of libraries were evolving, and a lot of different things. Nowadays, it's very easy. You can do a lot of things very easily using frameworks. There are no code frameworks as well, where you are just required to drag and drop things and then perform a lot of workflows and a lot of tasks. So LLM plus suitable tools, you create AI agents, and that is what we call as agentic AI. Okay, so this is about the theory. Now I will show you some applications, like we will create a chatbot from scratch, and using that you will understand a lot of tasks, and then you will be surprised to see what used to be like 1,000 or more than 1,000 lines of code 2 years ago, nowadays is just as simple as writing like 10 lines of code, and then that 10 line of code can also be written by the model itself. So we will not discuss deeply about the code, but the main idea is just to understand how that application is created and how easy it is. But before we go there, ask me if you have any doubts related to machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, or agentic AI. No doubts at all?
Hi, Sharma. Sorry. I just have a doubt uh, generative AI and agentic AI. Yeah. Okay. So something like, see, in both places, LLM is there, but agentic AI is something like LLM plus tools. Okay. That but you said generative AI to create new text or image or something. That is generative AI. But agentic AI, you just combine LLM plus tools. But what is the main use of that area that I can't get it clear?
Okay, absolutely perfect question. So the main goal here is to perform tasks.
Uh,
That is the main goal. Now,
task in the sense how it differs from generative AI. Even in generative AI, creating one image, creating a new image or video is something is a task, right? But how here task differs from generative?
perfect question. So let's try to understand differences between like generating new content and performing tasks. Uh, and Let's talk about an example related to creating an application. So if you're using a tool like, now I'm trying to keep the examples relevant so that all of you can understand. If you are using a product like ChatGPT or something, you can ask it that, okay, write the code for me to create a simple workflow. And let's say that workflow is related to create a budget tracking app for me. So it will give you the code. Now, what to do with that code, right? You will need to install the relevant framework in your PC yourself. You will need to use an editor. You will copy paste that code there. Then you will compile that code. Then you will basically, let's say, run that code. Okay, and then you will need to copy paste the URL to your browser, and then you will be able to see that application in action. Perfect. That is generating. Here we are limited to generating code. But now let's say you have given your LLM access to read and write files on your computer, on your PC. That is a task also, right? You need permissions for that, a lot of things for that. You have given your LLM the permission to install new things on your computer, you have given it permissions to execute files and then do everything related to that. So now with agentic AI, you can just ask that agent that, okay, create and deploy a budget tracking app for me. It will take care of everything for you. First example. Second example, let's say you want to send an email to 100 employees in your organization, and then the format is same. You just need to change the name and a few things, customize just a little bit with respect to each employee. When I say generation, you can use tools to generate those emails for you, but sending those emails to each and every employee is a task in itself. By default, your LLMs do not have access to your Gmail and then, let's say, the data about their emails and all of these things. But agentic AI, if you have created an agent which can do tasks related to, let's say, your Gmail or whichever account you are using, Outlook in your organization, if you give it access to that agent, all you need to do is, okay, this is the format and this is the list of emails. Now send the customized emails to all of them. That agent can send the email to all those employees. So this is the difference between generating and actually performing the task. Making sense?
Got it. Got it. Got it.
I have a question here. So,
Yes.
I mean, the tools here, meaning RAG, is it correct? Or
Yes, absolutely perfect question. Now that this term has come up, let me explain what RAG is. So RAG means Retrieval Augmented Generation. And not necessarily, RAG is not necessarily a tool or not necessarily related to agentic AI. What RAG means, let's say you have an LLM, so they obviously have a lot of knowledge, but now you want to use that for a very specific niche, something very specific, let's say very narrowed down. Let's say in healthcare or medical field, you are dealing with a very specific disease and symptoms, and then you want the LLM to have knowledge about that. So by default, it may not have a lot of knowledge about that specific niche. As a whole, it may have, but not about that niche. So what you can do is you can provide it some reference documents, research papers, or books, and then you can implement uh, a pipeline where whenever a question is asked, your LLM, instead of relying on its existing knowledge, it also accesses all those documents and then generates a suitable response. So that is RAG. So RAG is not about tools. RAG is more like, okay, without RAG, you ask your input, or let's say your question to LLM, and then the LLM responds. RAG, you ask your question, the LLM accesses the documents, PDFs, or whatever format you have provided, and then gives you the response. So that is RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. So you augment your generation by retrieving relevant information from the documents that you have provided. That's what RAG is.
so, do you mean LLM plus RAG is also a agentic AI, or it's only when it is combined with tools?
Combined with tools. There can be an AI agent capable of, which is like performs a RAG application, but RAG not necessarily is not an AI agent. RAG, see, RAG is not a tool or something. RAG is just a name of a
Yeah.
technique. RAG is just name of a technique. Just like there is generative AI, or let's say there's large language model. RAG is a technique. Retrieval Augmented Generation. It's a technique.
Yeah. Okay.
And what this technique means is you provide, in easy terms, you provide relevant documents to your LLM. And instead of relying only on its knowledge, the LLM refers to those documents and then generates the response for you.
Okay, we give RAG because it hallucinates.
Yes, absolutely correct. Now you are talking about hallucination. So I need to explain to everyone what is hallucination. See, when you are, and it happens very rarely nowadays, when you ask an LLM questions related to, again, like a very niche subject or something, so it may not have complete information, because although there's a lot of knowledge on the internet, but still a lot of knowledge is not there. So in such cases, its main task is to generate things. So sometimes it generates made up information. Like 60% might be true, 40% might be made up. So that is what we refer to as hallucination. And RAG is one of the techniques that can counter that. Let's say you use an LLM for a very specific task and then you do not like the responses, or you would like the responses to be verified and based on only the knowledge that you have specifically. There you can have it. One example is, let's say, product descriptions. So obviously, an LLM does not have information about a lot of products that you are specifically preparing, a lot of workflows and designs, and that you're preparing in your company itself. So you can provide all those documents and then it can generate summaries for you. That is a perfect example of RAG. So I hope RAG is clear to all of you and you also have a little bit idea about hallucinations.
Thank you so much, Utkarsh. This clears my question.
Great. So that's what I meant. I'm trying to keep it simple, non technical, but if all of you ask more and more questions, we will be able to have more and more discussions. Anything else? And does anyone have any question related to, let's say, how I can use this in my specific field? Or let's say I have this and this workflow. Can AI help me there? Something like that.
Yes, definitely. That would be the final thing everyone would like to know.
Yes. Okay, let's do one thing. First, let me show you that application. And instead of writing the code hands on, let me just execute it and show you so that I can save last 15 minutes for questions like that. Okay.
Okay.
Just give me 2 minutes. So don't worry about the code and everything. Okay, before even that, let me show you forever free chat GPT. I think that's the best term to use. I would like to introduce all of you to an app called Olama. Now, let's understand something. So LLMs, they are very large. They have billions of parameters and their size is huge. So let's say if I'm talking about an LLM, which is uh, 500 gigabytes in size, so you need to have a GPU worth that much of memory, which is very costly. We are talking in crores here. So those kind of models, obviously, you cannot run on your local machine. So what you do is you have them uh, as services in terms of services from OpenAI and let's say Claude. So when you use GPT 5.5, obviously it's not running on your machine. It is running on their data centers, their servers, and they have provided the access to you. You ask something, the request goes there, it comes back, it does the processing there, and the response comes back on your machine. That is how it works. But till last year, there were no small models which were capable enough for a lot of tasks, but a lot of things have changed. Nowadays, you have small LLMs which are very, very, very powerful and they can actually complete like 95% of the tasks that normal people perform using Chat GPT or Claude or a lot of these applications. Obviously, it will not create a industry scale application for you, but for a lot of basic tasks, these small scale models are more than sufficient. So you can run these LLMs on your system locally, offline, without paying anyone anything using this application called Olama. So that's why I said forever free Chat GPT. Okay. It is, if you're using Windows or Mac, you can go to their website, you can install it. The installation is very easy. After installing the app, you need to install models also there. So let me suggest some models to you. This is a very important part. All of you pay attention. Here, you can go to download Olama, and then you will find instructions to download it for both Mac and Windows. Very easy. If you go to the model section, then you can find out which models are available here. Your GPT 5.5, your Opus 4.8, they are obviously not available here. You can't run them locally, and also they are not open source. They are not open source, but all the open source models are available to be used with this app. We have models which are powerful enough to rival. Some are even better than OpenAI and Anthropic offerings for a lot of tasks. So it's not the case that open source models are not capable enough. No, most of these open source models are Chinese, and some of them are even better than the models by OpenAI and Cloud. And we are talking about GLM 5.2, Kimi K3. These you cannot run locally, but you can run them via cloud. So Olama provides you some free access, just like OpenAI and Claude do, and you can access them using that. But if you have, let's say, a computer powerful enough, you can obviously use them locally as well. Small models you can use locally easily. So which ones are best? Gamma 4 and Quen 3.5, these are best for you. So let's go there. Let's say I select Gamma 4. There are different versions of Gamma 4 available, simply based on number of parameters. So Gamma 4 12B, meaning it's a model with 12 billion parameters. Okay. Gamma 426B, it's a model with 26 billion parameters, and their size is also available. So the rule of thumb is choose a model which is less than your RAM size, like at least 3-4 GB less than your RAM size. Suppose if you have 16 GB RAM or GPU memory, then this 9.6 GB model is good enough for you. If you have only 8 GB, then maybe go ahead with this one, or something even smaller. You can choose any model from here. You can go ahead with this one, Quen 3.5, 9 billion, which is only 6.5 gigabytes. These models are much smaller compared to GPT 5.5 or Claude, but they are enough capable for most of the tasks that people perform. Let's take a look. So let's ask this model a question. What is retrieval augmented generation, and what are hallucinations? So let me first tell you what I have done here is I installed Olama, and then I downloaded this model Gamma 4 E4B in my system. I have a lot of others as well. There is one which is specifically meant for coding, and then the Quen one as well. So you can install the model offline, meaning it will run on your system. It will be yours to do anything with it. You don't need to pay anything. So what you can do is you can use Olama for most of the tasks, and you can save your Chat GPT or Claude credits for more important tasks. So let's ask this and then see what the response looks like. And then nowadays, even these small scale models have reasoning capabilities. So see, first it is thinking and reasoning. how exactly it needs to frame its answer and what needs to be replied.
I have a doubt. Uh, these models are used for processing our whatever task or questions, whatever. But from where it takes the data? Take for example, if I am asking this model, can you show me just everyone use case? Okay, can you show me gold price for last 1 year in India, like that? So it has to
No,
give me a report like that. So we will get data from internet or how it is.
no, by default, no. And that is where your frameworks and applications come into picture. You can allow them, let's say using LangChain or creating a very simple program, you can allow them access to internet, but by default, they do not have. Like if you ask this a question related to that, okay, who won the FIFA 2026 World Cup? It will not be able to answer because I think this is a model which was trained till 2025 December. I guess that's when it was released. So it will not have access to information after that. But writing very simple programs, and now when I say programs, it's not something very complicated. You can allow it access to internet and then it can access the information.
So you mean to say the model itself contains the both the processing capability plus it already stored the data, right? Till 2025, something like that, which can be used
Not stored
for
data, like learned data. We shouldn't say stored,
learned data.
learned data. Yes.
Yeah, okay, learned data. So till 2025, we take for example, what are all basic programmings like JavaScript or C++ or something. It will able to process those things. Okay, correct. But
Programming, creating programs and everything is not date related. You can ask it to create program in any programming language, it will do. Let me show you one example. So in one of the previous sessions, I asked it to create a budget tracking app and it delivered a very good app with multiple files and everything.
okay, no, my question is now this can be run without internet connection also,
Yes,
correct?
offline on your system, correct.
Okay. And you mean to say each model have some limitations, like how you say for this it is till 2025. Okay, and certain models will have certain limitations like that. Okay, correct.
Correct.
Okay, where can I find those for each model? What are the capability and what is the limitation like that? Where can I find those details?
You can find on the application itself. It will tell you when was the model updated last. So based on that, you can access. But see, that's a very, 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 very limited use case. The tasks that you can perform and the things you can do using these LLMs, they are not date based. I mean, no one is going to ask it about what happened till 25. That is not the main task here. Most of the tasks that you perform, they are date agnostic. Like you're not dependent on that. Creating articles, creating emails, creating images, analyzing documents, right? So it doesn't matter when they were trained. Getting my point?
Got it. But in many use cases, we rely on current market scenarios or like kind of thing, right? You take, for example, in every field, we will be analyzing the market trend. Accordingly, we take decision or whatever stuff, right? So how I can use this AI in that scenario?
Perfect question. So this is just a baseline model LLM. You can make it much more powerful by connecting it with internet, or let's say by giving it reference documents, by creating a RAG application like that. You have this LLM, this is a model. Even those applications are doing that. So if I talk about chat GPT or Claude, what is happening there? They have the LLM, and on top of LLM, they have given it a lot of capabilities. We can do the same thing here as well. For most of the tasks, this LLM in its base form is much more than sufficient out of the box. But we can, using frameworks like LangChain, which we will do in our course, we can allow it a lot of capabilities. We can allow it to the capability of accessing the internet, which is what also your chat GPT does. So then it will be able to access the internet, and then it will have access to the current information as well, right? We can give it a lot of documents related to the specific task you're talking about. Let's say you want to make this an expert in market research. Okay, provided some documents which may be very specific to your organization, and then it will do very well there. And the most important aspect is security. In most of the organizations, employees are not allowed to use chat gpt or claude or any such application for let's say privacy reasons. They are not allowed to upload company documents or summarize those things there. I hope most of you are working, so you may be aware of that. That is where this becomes more important. So nowadays, organizations are creating uh, custom solutions, meaning they will have a server on their own or maybe a third party. Then they will use an LLM, and then uh, it will be completely private to that organization. Or let's say you want a summary related to a specific document, but your company is not allowing you to upload it on ChatGPT or Claude because of security reasons. You can do it offline on your PC. I can upload the document there and I can have the summary. So that is one of the most important reasons this local LLM use is booming.
Um, right, and these LLM can able to access, take for example, I mean to say, you say that this LLM can also given permission to access the internet. Okay, so take for example, I can say create a Word document or presentation with the market trend of this company share like that. So this LLM can have access to my local computer, Word or Gmail or PowerPoint, like kind of thing. Can access
Yes,
this.
it can do everything. For that you need tools. Let's say you are talking about cloud code, or there are a lot of tools, and now there is something called OpenClaw as well, which can completely control your computer. You just need to point that to the local LLM, and it will do the task for you. So for such applications, see, not everybody can do this. Let me share something with you. Everything is limited by your hardware, right? Obviously you can't do all that on a 8 GB machine or a 16 GB machine with no GPU. So there you are only limited by your hardware. But if you have good enough hardware, you have more than capable LLMs which can perform anything that you mentioned on your machine. They can control the complete system for you.
So
Okay,
that
helpful.
the machine capability is what you mentioned in previous, right? Each LLM have some RAM speed or RAM capacity like 7 GB, 16 GB, like that. That is what the you mean, right?
Correct. Those capability, the capability of your LLM is only limited by your hardware. Because nowadays, so if I show you, see, I showed you Gamma 4. Let's talk about this one. So this has a 31 billion parameter version as well, and this has a 2 billion parameter version as well. So obviously, this 31 billion parameter version will be much more powerful than the smaller one. And here we are only talking about 20 GB. If I talk about models which are,
So 20 GB is like a capacity or it's a RAM speed.
no, 20 GB is the size of this model. So
Size
in
means
order to run, in order,
downloadable size, correct?
yes, correct. Size of its weights.
Mm.
This model needs to be loaded in your main memory, in your GPU memory, in order to work. Right?
Correct.
So
How do we
I
know
have,
what RAM capacity is needed?
how do we know what?
RAM capacity this needed. This is needed to run.
Okay. So always have like 30 to 40% higher than the size of the model. For example, let's say this model is, and not just RAM. I will explain that as well. See, this model is a 20 gigabytes in size.
Correct.
Okay, you need at least 32 GB of memory to access this, and not RAM, 32 GB of GPU memory. It is not the case that okay, you purchase, you spend 10,000 and then you purchase four RAM sticks and then expect it to run. No, these models run on your GPU. A GPU worth 32 gigabytes of memory costs somewhat around 4 to 5 lakhs.
GPU means which one you mean? Sorry, I'm not
Graphical processing
getting.
unit. Graphical processing unit.
You mean like graphic card?
Yes, graphics card. Correct.
So how do we check the size of graphic card?
No, that is available, or like when you want to purchase, so that is available in the description. Na? If you search for a graphic card that, okay, uh, let's say NVIDIA 1590, so I think that one has 32 gigabytes worth of memory.
Oh, okay, okay. It's
So
the usual one in any particular
yeah,
system.
Yes,
Okay.
any graphic card. But you mean to say, take for example here, the least one is gamma for the second one, 7.2 GB.
right.
So the downloadable size is 7.2 GB, and the
Yes.
RAM. What about RAM?
Same.
Ra- RAM
See,
should be
when
at
you,
least 16. I mean, see 8 GB, but the graphic card should be at least 16 GB kind of thing. Correct?
no, 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 not like that. All these models, you can run them on your RAM as well, but your CPUs are not designed for this purpose. Okay, let's understand this. All your machine learning models, deep learning models, and let's say these LLMs, they are computationally heavy. When they work, when they run, a lot of computations are happening. So your CPU is kind of a multi-purpose thing. It is designed to do a lot of different tasks. It is not specially designed to perform computations. Okay, a GPU is something that is specially designed to perform computations. You can run this model on your system without any GPU, but it will give you a lot of troubles and it will take a lot of time. So here we have something tokens per second. So if you're running on your CPU, let's say if you're generating only 5 to 10 tokens per second, if you're running it on a GPU, you may generate 50 to 60 tokens per second. For example, let's say if you asked it to generate a response which is something like this. Let's go back to our app here. So I asked this to generate this. It was quick enough. It's a 9 billion parameter model. For me, it is quick enough because I am using a Mac Mini M4. There, the GPU is sharing the RAM memory. So 16 GB is available for the CPU as well and the GPU as well. So this Mac has a powerful enough GPU to run this. But let's say you are using a laptop, let's say a Windows laptop, and you do not have any GPU. You just have some Intel i5 or AMD processor, and you have 16 GB RAM. So what I was able to do in just 1 minute may take half an hour for you. That is the difference. I'm not saying you cannot run these things on CPUs. You can, but it will not be useful. And participants from previous batches, they have often reported their laptops freezing or, let's say, hanging and a lot of issues. So that is what I mean. Let me repeat again.
So what
You
is the
can run these.
solution for this?
Let
The
me complete.
solution
Let
for
me
the
complete.
yeah.
So you can run on CPUs, but not advised. You need a dedicated GPU to run these models, right? These small scale models, 7 GB, 6 GB, fine. You can run on CPUs in your laptop, no worries. But if you're talking about using these models, then you need a dedicated GPU. That is a solution. You either need a GPU. Nowadays, everything is changing. So AMD and NVIDIA, they are releasing a lot of products that are specially designed for these things. And those are the only things selling. Everybody nowadays who wants to purchase a new machine or a new laptop, nobody is going for those old laptops. They go with machines which are capable of running NPUs because the future is all about that. So that is something device based. You can search like what are the devices suitable for running LLMs locally. You will get a lot of info on that. Mac is the best choice because these Apple ARM based Macs, M3, M4, M5, they have powerful enough GPUs, and their memory, which we usually refer to as RAM, it is shared between both the CPU also and the GPU also. So you will be able to comfortably run these models there. But if you do not have any GPU at all, you will struggle. Clear? I was showing you are only limited by your hardware. So this that was just only 30, sorry, 20 gigabytes. Now let's take a look at this Quen 3.5. So this has a version which is 122 bytes, 122 billions in parameter. It is 81 gigabytes. So you need at least 128 gigabytes machine to run this. And then you can do a lot of things. You can make your system as powerful as Chat GPT. Something even more powerful here. Let's say you want to do something related to coding. So here's a model which is 133 gigabytes in size. So it's not like you just need that much. No, it does a lot of computations. It loads data. It does a lot of other things. So you need at least, let's say, somewhat around 180 or even 256 gigabytes machine in terms of GPU memory to run this model comfortably. That is how it is.
That is almost like impossible, right? For a normal layman
No,
person.
it is possible. It is possible. It was not possible 2 years ago, but nowadays you have machines and people are using a lot of these. So if I talk about like a Mac M3 Ultra, so it will cost you around 5 to 6 lakhs if you are going for the 256 gigabytes version. That's not a lot of cost for a lot of people. Even I have a machine which costs 6 to 7 lakhs because I'm able to do a lot of things with it. So it's not impossible. And slowly it is becoming more and more cheaper. Like it was not possible to run even these 8 or 10 billion parameter models 2 years ago. But now I have a for sessions for these videos I use a smaller computer. So it is the Mac Mini M4. I got it for something like 60,000, and just for 60,000, I am able to run models as powerful as Gamma 4. And just look at this response. You will not be able to differentiate between Chat GPT in this. So, what are hallucinations? It first explains that the core problem. Why do hallucinations occur? All of this is happening offline. The model that exists on your PC is doing all of this. What is retrieval augmented generation? How does RAG work? Everything, and look at the quality of the response. So, this is more than sufficient for 99% of your tasks. Document summarization, generating things, okay, getting answers, a lot of tasks. You need those more powerful models for very specific things. So it's not impossible. It is possible and people are doing it. Yes, Neha.
Yep. So a little bit deviating from what's going on. So from data governance or data integration or warehousing project, how can these be used? These models,
Okay. Can you tell me something specific, like for what you want to use it? What kind of
like
projects and what you will
for data
expect
governance
the model to do?
project. Yeah, that is why. What could be the use case there? Like generally in the data governance project, we guess the build KPIs or integration project or warehousing project. It sounds similar to me. Like you explained few minutes back about sending emails or generating emails and then busting it out. So we did work on those kind of projects. We called it as automation. So I'm not finding it much different that what we did as a automation project or for analyzing data, generating reports, working in an ETL project, worked on a big data and all. So that is why, like, how these models will be working. Can I integrate with my local data, or like, so how I have a lot of questions. I'm not understanding how to use it.
You can absolutely integrate it with your local data and see when it comes to automation, there are no limitations. You can create AI agents, small, a lot of small ones, or a bigger one. A lot of things can be done very easily. For me to answer, let's say what exactly, so you will need to tell me all the steps, like
So
governance projects, automation, and everything. So I'm supposing that you are asking this question because you have already done automation and all of that, but it is not LLM based. It is not powered by generative AI or agentic AI. Is it right?
yeah, right. We did wrote Java code and integrated with our BI tools and busting the reports out by SMTP, connecting to SMTP server and all. So where this will be used in that automation project? How can, like, we wrote a lot of code of lines. So how to reduce it? How
That is it.
to
That
use
is
it?
it. That's your answer.
Mm.
You created custom solutions. You wrote a lot of lines of code. It was very tedious for you to build those solutions. Using LLMs and agentic AI, you can do it very easily. Even a non-tech person can do all of these things. That is the answer.
How you were showing that gamma and all those models, right? So those are trained. I, as I understood, it's not stored data, but is like it learned, right? So maybe on some set of data, it might got trained, and then we might have written some kind of algorithm. So now, how I will use that particular model to work on my data, my company data, like there as well. We have 15-20 years of data, use data. So that is a question, how I make
If
or
you
I
want to
need to
use
alter
that
the model.
on your company data, you will need to use something called RAG, right? The solution is
Okay.
right there in front of you. So how do you allow it access to your data? For that, you obviously need to learn a few things. Like you need to learn a framework called LangChain. Using LangChain, you can develop pipelines. You can tell sources that okay, this pipeline will pick up the sources, pick up the data from these and these sources. You will allow it access. Then that data will be converted to chunks. Then it will be vectorized, and then it will be stored in a vector database. And from there, your LLM will be able to access that.
Okay.
Right? And that solution, I mean, obviously, you will be able to understand how easy it is only when you build it. But I
That
can tell you,
architecture is something I'm not able to relate, like how exactly the
architecture,
flow will be.
obviously, yeah, architecture, obviously, we cannot discuss here. We are limited by the time as well. And then it will not be relevant to other participants. But
Mm-hmm.
it's very easy. See, whenever you want to implement something like that, you need to use frameworks. Your LLM is going to be powering everything, but you need to create pipelines and workflows to connect it to everything else. The one specific requirement that you have, how you will make it able to access your data. So that is something for which RAG is there. You
Mm-hmm.
will create pipelines for loading data, convert them into chunks, then store them into a vector database, and that is where your LLM will be able to access them and answer relevantly. And for performing other tasks, also you can create, let's say, agents. You will need to specifically create tools, define tools, and let me show you something. I hope all of you don't mind if we extend a little bit. Is it fine with everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So see, here's a very simple application about RAG. You have your documents, you split them into chunks, you convert them to embeddings, and then all the pipeline, and then finally your LLM answers. And here's everything happening. Here I'm explaining everything step by step in different cells. So this looks like a big piece of code, but it is not. If I am to write all this in a single cell of Jupyter, it will look like very simple code. Done. So here, to keep it simple, what I have done is I have provided my raw documents as a simple list here. But you can point it to read documents from other resources as well. After that, everything is same. First, you split your documents into chunks, then you create embeddings, store them into a vector store, and then you create a retriever that will be able to retrieve data from there, and then that's it. You ask your model, just okay, you're a helpful AI assistant, and answer questions only based on the context provided or you have extracted from the documents. That's it. That is your RAG application. That's how simple it is.
Okay.
And about AI agents and tools, now that we have opened this anyways, so let me show you that as well. A very simple example. So you have your AI agent, then you give your agent access to a lot of tools, and then you build a reasoning loop. Now, someone was interested in how do you allow access to browse the internet, and you'll be surprised how easy it is. So here, I have created a Wikipedia tool. So this tool will be able to access all the information that is available on Wikipedia, meaning there obviously everything is up to date. So it can access that easily. Uh, tool just needs to your LLM just needs to use this tool. That's it, nothing else. If you want to give it access to the complete internet, that is how easy it is. And now here I am giving my LLM the ability to access website or the complete internet web search. Here I'm using an offering from DuckDuckGo specifically, but you can use anything else that is available. Everything is fine. So I just need to create this function. These are often available as templates to be copy pasted. It's not something that you have to write yourself. Done. And when I create my LLM, all when I use my LLM, all I need to write is that okay, you're a smart, helpful AI assistant. Use the available tools to answer the user's questions accurately, and that's it. This is how you implement internet access. Just by using this simple tool. This is a tool which my LLM will call, and using this tool, it will be able to access the information available on internet. Because by default it obviously does not have capability to use Chrome or let's say DuckDuckGo or anything else, but we can allow those abilities using tools like this is a tool, and it can use that. I create an agent, I specify what kind of model I'm using, Gamma or Llama or anything. I grant it access to tools. Now these you do not have to write code to create yourself always. They are always available to be copy paste, available as copy paste to codes, so you can use them, and then you provide your prompt. That's it. You have an AI agent which can perform these tasks. Similarly, uh, you can provide tools to perform any tasks, and you can give a lot of capabilities to your LLM. Was it helpful?
Yes.
Okay. And who was asking the questions related to internet access? Was it Keshav? No.
No, Sriram.
Yes, Srinath, sorry. So I hope, Srinath, this was somewhat helpful to you, at least gave you an idea like how this is done. You just use a tool, you give access to that tool to your LLM, and that's it.
Got it. So there is a request from my side. You will be sharing this recording, right? To us?
Uh, Rajiv, can you please confirm? Will the participants have access to this recording?
Hi. Yes, Utkarsh, it will be shared separately to everyone. So our team will
Okay.
reach out to you after this, maybe tomorrow, and they will share it to you over email or something.
And along with recording, I also request maybe getting material for initial setup purpose like that. This Olama, okay, and then that's it. I need those things because we will be go through this recording again, and then only we will have a setup.
Your voice is a little bit feeble, but what I understood was you are asking that apart from the recording, will you get material to install Olama? So to install Olama, you don't really need any material. It's like installing any other application. You can just go to Olama on your browser tab, just search for Olama. You can install it like any other application on Windows. And then, okay, one thing I need to show you. After you have installed Olama, you need to open your terminal and you need to download models because by default it does not come with any models. So let's say you want to install the Gamma 4 model. So what you will need to do is Olama pull, that is a command to install models, and then you can copy paste the name of the model from here.
Yeah, in this place only I have a doubt is how do I know if this model is used for this purpose? Like you said, for coding purpose, some model is good, like for image creation, something like that. How can I have any information for this model?
So see, for let's say 18, sorry, 8 gigabytes or 16 gigabytes, the choices are limited. I'll give you the best solutions. So just use this one, Gamma 4 E2B. I'm copy pasting its name in the chat as well. So you can just download this. How to download? Just copy this and go to your terminal, Olama pull and paste this. That's it.
No,
Done. It will start downloading.
apart from system capability, just on general interest that I want to know what a gamma is used for, and you shared some more names. I want to know what LLMs have, the pros and cons, the limitations, everything. Is there any documentation available to know all these things? Like if you go back, there are some more things, right? This is gamma with the various versions, but if you go back, there are a lot of things.
See, they are general purpose. It's not like there is an LLM for every different task. No, you only have two types of LLMs. First, general purpose LLMs, which are good for everything. Then, second type is coding specific LLMs, which are specially designed to generate code. Apart from that, there isn't something that, okay, an LLM which is good for everything else. Getting my point? What I'm telling you is for our system use cases, obviously, I don't think any one of you may have, let's say, 32 gigabytes or 128 gigabytes model. What will be best for all of you is either the Gamma 4 or the Quen 3.5. There is nothing else that you need to think about. These are the best models available in such small scale. Gamma 4, if you have 16 gigabytes worth of memory, use E2B or E4B, anything. If not, then choose Quen 3.5, 2B, or let's say 4B. So I am sharing the best two models for all of you in chat. Check. Use either the Gamma 4 E2B or the Quen 3.5 4B. You can download multiple ones as well. Quen 3.5 4B should be best for most of you. I'm assuming that most of you will have 8 gigabytes. So this will run very smoothly. It will run very smoothly even if you do not have any GPU, right? If you want to learn which models are best for coding, so for your system, Quen 2.5 coder is going to be best. So I will share the link to that as well. Here it is. That's it. You don't need to think about anything else from apart from these models. That's it. Now, if you're talking about benchmarks, then you can like search, okay, best models for coding, best models for, because see, every model is good for something. So if you want all of that data, you will need to refer to official benchmarks. Like, okay, give me the, you can just ask chat gpt, you will give me the latest benchmarks of models. That will be the best solution to do that. So they will tell you, okay, which one is best for creating UI applications, which one is best for generating videos, which one is best for generating audio, which is best for coding, all of that. Helpful? Srinath, I hope that is what you were asking.
Yeah, got it, got it.
Okay, great. So Rajiv is sharing that in one of the previous webinars, I helped participants. Here also I planned, but I think it was important to answer other doubts. So that's why we were not able to complete the installation steps, but it's very easy. So you will receive a recording as per Rajiv. In one of the previous webinars, I helped participants install that. So you can refer to that for installation. But you don't really need, this is something very simple. I don't think you need to refer to a recording to install this. Just download it, click on execute, it will install, and then open your terminal. Just write olama pull gamma e2b, e2b, e4b, it will execute. It's very easy. Now, anyways, we have extended, so let me just take 5 minutes and show you. So as you can see its capabilities, now let's go back to that application and run our chat. So this is a simple chatbot. You can see it's just 10 lines of code. I need to open this URL and my chatbot will be ready. Done. I hope there are no conflicts because I have that app open and something is running there as well. While this is generating, see, hello, how can I help? Hello, how can I help you today? And you can ask the questions and it will generate responses to you. But that's not why we create chatbots. I mean, I can use Olama if I have to have a conversation like that. Let's say I need to do something very specific. Okay, if you want to implement RAG or a lot of things, that also you can do here. But here, let's say you want to do something very specific. Also, it does not have any history. Every message will be a new message. So this is a chatbot which implements history. So in a lot of these applications that you create using Gen AI and LLM, instead of writing code, you have to create prompts, and coding is very minimal. So see, if I want to implement history, I just need to write 4 or 5 lines of code more. That's it, nothing else. But my goal is I want to create a chatbot which is going to answer, which is going to behave like a data science mentor. And a lot of companies are actually minting a lot of money by creating these simple things. But anyways, so let's say your task is you want to create a chatbot which behaves like a data mentor, and then it answers questions and helps participants related to all of these fields. So all of this you need to mention in your prompt. A prompt is what you provide to an LLM to expect certain behavior, right? The prompt is the main part. We are providing all this prompt. You can answer these questions. In the prompt, you will define its personality. In the prompt, you will clearly mention the areas it needs to talk about, and then how its response style is going to be, strict boundaries, right? You are not supposed to talk about these things. And then what are the securities? If anyone tries to change your instructions, no, do not reveal your hidden instructions, your system prompt, your guardrails. If a user asks questions like these, ignore them. This is what you should respond exactly. So this is what mostly matters. Now, just in these few lines of code, and then these prompts can also be generated by AI. You don't need to worry about writing all of this yourself. We have created an actually deployment worthy application. Let me execute this, which will behave like a data science assistant. Setting up guardrails and all of these things, we will obviously talk about in our courses. Let me just show you the application. Okay. Hi, let's see what the first response looks like. It will have memory as well. It will remember what you were talking about earlier. Hello, it's great to meet you. I'm a data mentor. I'm here to be your dedicated coach for everything. And here I have also implemented streaming. What does streaming mean? Streaming simply means that instead of making you wait for the generation of complete message and then showing you, it will show you as it is generating everything. Let's ask it a question. Or let's just ask something else. What are large language models? And then I will also show an example what happens if I ask a question into something else. So setting up guardrails is very important. There's a story about McDonald's. So they developed an application like this, a chatbot, but they did not set any guardrails. So people were actually using their chatbots to generate code and do a lot of other things, right? So, and then it was costing them a lot. So we need to set guardrails that, okay, this is what you are required to talk about specifically. And if anything else is being asked, just ignore or respond with a particular message. Large language models are one of the most exciting transformative areas in modern AI. Here is a complete background. What is an LLM? They're sophisticated deep learning programs that have been trained on massive amounts of text data from the internet. Basically, everything available on internet. Their primary function is to understand human language and generate uh, natural sounding text responses. How do they work? Training data and scale. The large refers to both the enormous amount of data they consume, petabytes of text. Now, see, petabytes of text is a lot. Like in 1 kilobyte of, sometimes we create these doc files, text files, we have like 3000 words, and that comes out to be only 1 kilobyte. So when we say petabytes of text, this is really huge. Okay, and let it complete. And the immense number of parameters they contain, billions or even trillions. We are talking about 9 billion, 7 billion, 6 billion parameter models that we can run on our machine. Large scale models usually have trillions of parameters. Like Kimi K3 recently released, it has 2.7 trillion parameters. These parameters are internal weights that allow the model to recognize complex patterns in language. Just like you're talking about patterns, so there are many ways to represent patterns. Tokenization, when you feed text, okay, let's not discuss this. The core mechanism. At their heart, LLMs perform one single task repeatedly, predicting the next most probable token. That's it. Everything is based on that. And then a lot of technical information. LLMs power many tools we use every day, chatbots and virtual assistants. We have just created a chatbot. If we had more time, I could have covered this in more detail, but I think it's almost 10. So I'm covering it quickly. Content generation, coding assistance, summarization, translation, and paraphrasing. And then these are still just some of the tasks. There are endless possibilities. And here's the summary. Now, uh, I think Arnav, sorry, Rajiv will need to talk about you about a few things. Before handing it over to him, let me just say, who is this course for and why is it important? See, uh, generative AI and agentic AI are having an influx in almost every industry. And with the frameworks and tools that are available today, you are not required to have relevant mathematics, computer science, or AI or machine learning background. If you're looking for, let's say, a sophisticated job, then obviously they may be relevant. But if you want to use it for tasks in your organizations or somehow be more productive in your current role, then this is for everyone. And even if you want to switch your domain, let's say switch your job profile to something related to AI and everything, that is also possible because there are a lot of possibilities opening up. These tools, learning about generative AI, agentic AI, will give you ability to create workflows of your own, and that is where industry is going towards. Security and local use are the biggest benefits. Why? Because see, nobody allows their employees to upload company specific documents or data on the internet or chat gpt or cloud. Nobody allows their employees to have access, to allow access of those tools to your, let's say, secret data. That is where these local LLMs or offline LLMs and these workflows are going to be useful. Okay, I hope I answered all your questions. I hope all of you learned a lot from this. I wish I had more time to show you the RAG application and this chatbot application in detail. But anyways, we are going to talk about these things in a lot more detail in our course. Yes, Rajiv, do you have something to share before we wrap up?
Yeah. Thank you, Utkarsh. That was really an informative sessions. Thank you for that. Hope everybody got a glimpse about what exactly is about generative AI and agentic AI about. Since we already passed our time, let's not extend it further. So tomorrow, most probably, a few of our colleagues will reach out to you. If you have any further questions, or if you want to connect with Utkarsh with any specific questions or related to the program or any other things, you can connect with our counselors and they will help you.
Just one question here. So how
Sure.
long is this course for? What is the duration? I mean,
So this is a weekend-based program. Every Saturday and Sunday, 3 hours each day have to dedicate. For so total duration is 4 months,
okay,
16 weeks. That is.
16 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Total 48 hours. So
Total approx 100 hours.
okay. Thank you.
Starting from the scratch of Python, then your analytics, then couple of statistics with machine learning, deep learning, followed by the topics that is generative AI and the agentic AI and all the elements.
Do
Right?
we any certificate as such from Strategy?
Right. So there is a certification governing body that we have partnered with, that is GSDC, Global Skill Development Council. There is a US-based AI certification body, right? So there will be one MCQ-based exam at the end of this program, right? So once you clear that examinations, you get a global certifications. So this certification is not just valid for India. We have lots of participants across the globe, right? From North America, from UAE, from Europe. So all those people will be in the same group, in the same cohort, and we'll be learning together. In our per cohort, we take maybe not more than 20 people, right? And at the end of this 4 month of journey, you will be going through that MCQ tests. We're going to help you how to crack those tests. Even if you do not clear it in the first go, you can take multiple rounds without any extra costs. And at the end of this entire exercise, you get the certifications from GSDC that is valid across the globe.
Okay, thanks for answering this.
Sure. Thank you. Any more questions from anyone else?
Hi Rajiv, this is Priyanka. Just wanted to make sure that regarding this certification or the course, like whenever someone will reach out to us, we will have that information, right?
Right.
Or
They
the
will share
detailed
the
information.
detailed brochure
Okay.
and everything with you. You can have a
Okay.
detailed conversation.
Yep. Thank you.
This was a practical demonstration on what exactly we are going to do. How interactive the session was. You were just one-on-one conversation we're having with the trainer, that is Utkarsh. So just to give you a glimpse of the what is next for the next 4 months for the actual sessions, right? For in regards to the brochure and details, definitely our team will reach out. They will share the things over your email or anything you require. All the things will be provided.
Raju, is this course suitable for non-tech background as well? I know there has been a lot of talk about it, but I just wanted to know, since Python or any other language or any technical terminologies are very new to people from non-technical. So is this useful, since it is I mean, only the basics part will be covered, or I'm not sure what is covered for Python and others. So, I mean, will it be difficult for others to go take it forward?
I think since
Yeah.
Utkarsh is already present, I think he will be the right person to
Yes.
answer this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Sushma, for this course, you do not have any prerequisites, and it is definitely suitable for non-tech participants. It is actually designed keeping non-tech participants in mind. So, you're talking specifically about Python. See, learning a programming language is not a huge task. For example, a programming language has some fundamentals, and then you have a lot of frameworks related to a lot of tasks. So we will learn all the fundamentals of Python, and they are very easy. In our previous batches also, participants used to have a lot of concerns, but after, let's say, 3 weeks, they used to feel that okay, this is something they have become very comfortable with and they can perform easily. So you were talking about a lot of advanced things in Python, whether you will be able to do or not. Now, in terms of advanced things, see, there's a programming language and then there are a lot of frameworks. So, for example, we are obviously not going to learn Python to create websites or to create, let's say, software development. We are going to learn Python to do machine learning, data science, and AI, generative AI, agentic AI. Correct?
Okay.
And that, let me tell you, because of these frameworks, is very, very, very easy. In fact, it is very elementary. In my circle, like I have a board games community, there are people who are like 60 years old, lawyers, okay, CAs. They are creating workflows of their own without even any formal course or something. But
Um,
obviously, they are limited.
mm,
But this course will give you a lot more than that. Yes, go
um,
ahead.
Thank you for that information, Utkarsh. Thank you. And I had this question because, Rajiv told us that the certification from GSDC would be there and there will be MCQ questions. So if at all, if we have something like that, I think there would be something we should be learning on coding part is what I felt. So even in for MCQs, so I thought I'll have the question, but it is clear now. Thank you.
Yes. Obviously, the coding part will also be there. You will be writing a lot of code, but
Mm-hmm,
everything will be an incremental manner.
mm-hmm.
Uh, After 1 month, you will be very comfortable with coding and creating your own programs. And again, to create applications using Gen AI and all of these, it's not like you need to be a Python expert. No, so you will be able to code comfortably. And regarding the MCQ, see, the MCQ we have is because any certificate which is not evaluation based is of no value. I hope all of you already
I
understand that, you are
do agree.
experienced, right?
Okay.
And if you complete this course, then you will be able to ace that certification very, very, very easily. You will find those questions to be very elementary compared to what we have actually learned in the course.
Okay.
So just
I
to
will.
summarize,
Mm-hmm.
no prerequisites. Python will be discussed relevant to AI and machine learning and data science. Slowly, we will learn basics of Python, then we will learn frameworks and libraries. Everything will be in a manner that you will never feel uncomfortable with coding.
Thank you. It was really insightful, Utkarsh. Thank you so much for this session.